Don't wait until you need a lawyer to consult with a lawyer. Hey y'all, it's Kameron Monet coming to you guys with the last video in my entrepreneurship series. Welcome to part 7 of 7. I hope you guys have been enjoying the series. If you missed any of the other 6 parts of the video, I will leave the links down in the description box below. And I also created an entire playlist so you guys can constantly refer back to specifically the entrepreneurship series. So I will leave that link as well. So today's video is going to be pretty quick, I feel like. I say that, but I'm a long-winded talker, so we'll see. But I want to hit 3 main topics. The first one is contracts. The second one is patents, copyright, and trademarks, and the third one is taxes. I'm not going to go into extreme depth with these specific topics, but for those of you that don't know, I am a licensed attorney as well as now a full-time entrepreneur, content creator, and influencer. But of course, I have to give a disclaimer that this video is for educational and informative purposes only. If you do need to speak with an attorney, please seek counsel in your specific jurisdiction. Call your specific state's bar association and get a referral. Consult with a lawyer. And this actually leads me into a main thing I want to really have this video say is don't wait until you need a lawyer to consult with a lawyer. There's nothing worse than having absolute no knowledge about the specific area of business you're working in and not knowing about the licenses that you need, or not knowing about like a copyright issue that you may come across with, etc. And then you having to go to an attorney in that stage as opposed to kind of getting ahead of the game and having a little bit more information under your belt before you even start your business or while you're starting your business. I promise you guys, it sucks when you get hit with a complaint or some type of legal issue and you're starting your business, or you are not in a financial position where you can even deal with something like that. So I say invest in talking to an attorney first. And I know you're like, well, I don't have the money, I promise y'all, the money that you're going to pay to invest in an attorney to get the knowledge up front to make sure your business is secure is going to be just a small little bitty itty bitty amount compared to the type of fees and fines and legal issues that may come across that may hit you monetarily. So just saying that, putting that out there. That was kind of like a long disclaimer, but I have to say that. All right, so now that we got all that out the way, let's hit our first topic, contracts. I will say there's so many other topics within legal information that I feel entrepreneurs should know, need to know, should at least have a little bit of knowledge on, but I didn't want to make this video super long or super legalese and legal jargon because all the Latin terms and it could get real confusing real quick, okay? So I just want to hit on 3 main things that I think will be helpful for a lot of entrepreneurs. So contracts, I do have an influencer contracts video. I will link in the cards and down in the description box below. So check that out if you're an influencer wanting to know about different specific contract terms such as deliverables and exclusivity and usage rights and licenses and things of that nature. That's a great video for you guys to refer to. So I want to speak a little bit more generally when it comes to being an entrepreneur and running a business. There are a few contracts that you should be familiar with, and that's going to be a non-disclosure agreement, whether that's you bringing on a contractor, an employee, a photographer, whatever the case may be. You should definitely have an NDA. And I know it seems like, who am I to have an NDA? Listen, if you're giving out any type of personal information, whether that's structure of your business, the way your business works, your systems that you have in place, which we talked about in another video in the series, or even if it's just giving your email login, your social media login, or just like the behind the scenes of your business, you want somebody that's involved in that to sign an NDA. You don't want to come up with any type of issues where later on they're telling all your little behind the scenes secrets, all your little business, etc. So you want to have an NDA. Also, contracts that involve you working with third parties. So whether that's you hiring a photographer to take your brand photos, there should be some type of contract that says that if they want to own the license or the usage rights to that they're giving you permission to use it in various ways in perpetuity. So for the duration of your life, essentially. So you want to make sure that those contracts are in place even when you're working with something that seems like small as working with like a photographer to help brand your business, or working with a web developer or a web designer. You want to have contracts in place. They don't have to be these extreme legalese and long contracts. You just need something that says, listen, I agree that although I may own the usage and the licensing rights to these photos that I'm taking for you, I'm giving you full usage rights in perpetuity to use in any capacity that you would like to use it, whether that's for paid products, digital, non-digital, and you can list a variety of different things. You want to talk to me about a specific contract, go on my website, Kameron Monet, and set up a consultation, and we can do that there. I will add that there are some state specific things that you may need to incorporate in your contract depending on what the contract is, which is why I say consult with an attorney in your jurisdiction, contact your state bar, and they can help you get a specific lawyer referral that way. Also, another contract that you may want to have is something that involves having a speaker, whether it's virtual or in person. This is something that I feel like people don't really think of. You want to make sure that if you're going to use the speaker's likeliness, etc., so say you want to record that event, you want to make sure that everyone's on the same page and you don't later on get hit with a fine or a lawsuit because you repurposed their content that they created for you and you sold it in a digital product or a non-digital product or something like that. And then now that creator is suing you for using that when there was no agreement. So you just want to make sure that you have everything laid out. Again, it doesn't have to be something super complicated. It can be very clear. For instance, when I work with brands, sometimes the contract that they send me, some of them, it's like, who created this? But a lot of them are very simple and straight to the point and very good contracts. It says, these are the two parties. Both people are in agreement to this contract. Here's the date. Here are the deliverables. Deliverables meaning, okay, the type of content that they're looking for. 1 Instagram and feed post and 3 to 5 IG story frames, for instance. Here's the price. Here's how the person will be paid. Please put how the person will be paid. Know the duration of when that payment will happen, such as net 30, net 45, as soon as the content goes up. Make sure everyone understands that creator owns the license, owns the usage. It's their product. It's them. They are who it is, you know, their likeliness. Add on an extra fee for that, and etc., etc. I specifically like to add that any writing outside of this contract has to be signed and agreed upon by both parties. Sometimes y'all may email outside of the contract and then they may have a different understanding of now this additional thing that they're adding. Emails can also be a form of an agreement because both parties are saying, okay, I agree to giving you this product. I agree to sending you this product. That's, of course, you hate to get in court to have to battle those things, but you can also pull emails and those can be a form of an agreement and a contract. But again, type up a quick little Word document. I don't recommend using just like forms you find online or contracts you find online if they aren't attorney drafted. Keyword, if they aren't attorney drafted, because I will be selling contract templates Black Friday, but they're attorney drafted, they're reviewed, I am licensed, I can review the contracts in different eyes than lay people essentially. And lay people, we say, are people that aren't in the legal field. It's just a different viewpoint. I'm going to see terminology and key phrases and the way things are labeled and the order that they're labeled, and I'm going to see it in different eyes than someone else that is not in the legal profession. So I give caution to use those sites. I'm not completely against them, but just use caution. That's why I always say, please just consult with an attorney. Like, we went through all the hassle of going through 3 years of law school, spending all this money, okay? It's for a reason. It's because we have a level of expertise and knowledge that people just don't have if they aren't in the legal profession. Of course, there are several other types of contracts that you may be thinking of and that I'm not necessarily touching on, like for instance, an independent contractor contract, an employee contract. Those are key things that may or may not come up in your business. So you want to make sure you have those on deck. Remember, like I said, have your systems in place. Have a Google Drive or ClickUp or whatever platform you use to kind of house your business behind the scenes. You could have contracts drafted. So that's what I have. So I don't even have to think if I want to add on an intern. I have an intern agreement where I send to them. It has an NDA within it. Tells them my expectations of their responsibilities, the payment, if there is any, if it's no payment, say that, the duration of the contract, and we both sign it with the date, and boom. So just have drafts on hand ready, which is why I'm really excited to launch my contract templates. I'm gonna have just 3 from jump, but of course I will add on more contracts as I see the need and as I see the request for them. They will be easily customizable, easily personalizable, and if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, I will have the ability for you to be able to consult with me. Of course, that will be an additional fee, and I'm gonna tell y'all now, it's not gonna be super duper cheap. I tried to make it as affordable as possible, but I spent a lot of time drafting them, and you can have them forever. Once you make that purchase, you can customize the document, the contract, and the agreement however you see fit. And yeah, so I'm really excited about that. Okay, so now let's talk about patents, copyrights, and trademarks. These can get real confusing or real quick, okay? So intellectual property, it can get really confusing, and I know a lot of people throw out the term, I got a trademark, like just like throwing it out the wall, but I'm gonna read exactly what each of these 3 things mean, just so that we all can be on the same page. Honestly, maybe just reading this will help you understand the differences between them, because there are differences and the protections that they cover. So a trademark. A trademark is a word, phrase, symbol, and or design that identifies and distinguishes the source of the goods of one party from the other. A service mark is a word, phrase, symbol, and or design that identifies and distinguishes the source of a service rather than goods. For example, brand names, slogans, and logos. The term trademark is often used in general sense to refer to both trademarks and service marks. So, like I just said, a trademark essentially is a service mark. They just cover two different things. But a trademark is not covering the invention or the process. That's a patent. So a trademark would cover, for instance, like Kameron Monet. If I got that trademark, that would cover that name, that brand. It could cover a logo. Say you make a design, that could be a trademark. Like, for instance, like McDonald's. When you see that specific M arch, they can have that trademark, and now when I see that symbol, I think McDonald's. That's why you want to get something trademarked, because when someone sees your name or sees your logo or your brand design, they think of you. So then that's why if someone else uses it, now they're thinking of you on their product, if that makes sense, which is why people sue for that kind of thing. I hope that makes sense. So if I put McDonald's on a box, people are thinking that's McDonald's, and what if the quality is bad? So now people are identifying my bad quality to McDonald's, which is why they would sue me. So a patent is a limited duration property right related to an invention granted by the United States Patent and Trademark Office in exchange for public disclosure of that invention. Patentable materials include machines, manufactured articles, industrial processes, and chemical compositions. The duration of a patent protection depends on the type of patent granted, such as a design patent, 15 years from insurance, etc. Utility patents, plant patents, etc. So again, I'm reading this quick Google search on the United States Patent Trademark Office. Of course, like I said, you still need to consult with an attorney. I'm doing my best to explain it. Of course, I'm not going as in depth as I could. Again, don't want to make this video super long. But doing a quick Google search, doing the research can really help you. You guys, you have to put in the work. You have to do the legwork, the grunt work, the not so fun work, the non-glam work to be able to progress in your business. But I mentioned duration with patent. So a trademark, it doesn't expire after a set term of years. You're paying for the use. Again, these are expensive things. They're not affordable things. But when it gets to a place in your business where you're like, you know what, I don't want someone else to use my design, to use my logo, or when I start to sell an invention, I don't want to give away to people to figure out how I came up with this invention and then sell it for themselves and get a patent on it. So, and of course, there's a lot of other nuances when it comes to first to file, or who owns the trademark over the other person, or like the battles between it. I was gonna say custody battles, but the battles between, oh, this is mine, I used it first, etc. There's a lot of other nuances that I'm not gonna talk about. So that's why consult with an attorney. They can look up I will say this, the United States Patent Trade Office, when you can search, okay, let me search and see if somebody using this trademark, it's not always accurate. That's why you need to talk to a trademark, copyright, patent lawyer, so they can do a search, because they have other types of resources where they can do a more thorough check. I'm right now not practicing intellectual property at this moment. I may in the future. Definitely been thinking about it, but talk to an attorney. So a copyright protects original works of authorship, including literary, dramatic, musical, and artistic works such as poetry, novels, music, songs, computer software, and architecture. The duration of a copyright protection depends on several factors. So I know you guys are probably more familiar with a copyright, because if you're on YouTube, for instance, or even Instagram now, and you're using music, for instance, people are like, oh, you don't want to get copyrighted, etc. Essentially, if I'm using someone else's song in my video and getting paid for it, they should get a percentage, unless the music is not copyrighted, or unless I pay for a license. So for instance, in my video, I have a song that plays at the beginning, in my intro as well as my outro. I went ahead and bought the license for that, so they can't come back and sue me and say, you're using my music, I should get a percentage of what you're making. No, I now bought your license to be able to use your song in whichever form I need to use it on my social media platforms. So copyright is a little bit more of a, I wouldn't say lenient, it's a little bit, I would say it's a lesser of the two when it comes to protections, just because, I wouldn't even say that. It's just a different type of protection than a trademark and a patent. I wouldn't say it's lesser, or there's any type of, it just depends on what you need. If I'm a songwriter, I don't need a patent. Like, I'm not creating an invention. That's just not what I'm doing. So it depends on your needs of your business and what you're looking for. I will say this when it comes to trademarks. I know that's like a big thing. I feel like trademarks are getting thrown around more than even copyright now. If you aren't sure of what you're doing in your business and the name and the logo yet, don't spend the money yet. Some people may have a different opinion, but in the beginning of your business, especially within the first year, you're coming up with so many ideas and you're testing the waters and trying things. Don't pay those thousands of dollars to get something trademarked. And at the end of when you finally get your trademark, because it's a long process, you're like, oh wait, I don't even want to use that anymore. I have a whole new business idea. So I say definitely wait for that. But if you're pretty secure, you've been doing it for a long time and you know for a fact this is something you want, or you start to see someone else using something similar or something super unique and creative, go for it. All right, let's briefly talk about business taxes. Like I mentioned in my money management video, I just had to mention this again because there's nothing worse than getting hit with a big tax fine because you didn't take out any taxes, you didn't have barely any business expenses, or even if you did, your profit was just so much and you didn't realize none of that was taxed. So come tax season, you're paying hundreds of thousands of dollars. I've seen it too many times. I see it on YouTube, people making videos about it. Get ahead of the game and be informed from jump, because you may only be making $1,000 a month or $3,000 a month right now from your business, but there may be a time during that tax season that you end up making $20,000 in a month, $50,000 in a month, and none of that is taxed, and you were not prepared for the amount of taxes that you're going to end up having to pay. So I use QuickBooks. Highly recommend it. It's so easy. You connect it to your business banks or any bank account, honestly, and you can categorize things. So for instance, if I purchase a new lighting equipment, I can categorize that as a business expense and it's going to show up on my QuickBooks. Because like we said, income is anything that you're making minus your business expenses equals your net profit. So your net profit is what's going to be taxed on. So this is, again, very general. I have to keep giving the disclaimers. Very general. Talk to a tax attorney. Talk to an accountant, a CPA, because they're going to be able to curate something specific for you, specific for your business needs. That's going to be a lot more helpful, especially when it comes to creating those business expenses and accepting tax write-offs and things like that. So definitely talk to a professional in your specific area. That's going to really help you personalize your taxes, because taxes are very personal as far as what you can and cannot write off and how that works behind the scenes. So as self-employed, the tax percentage is 15.3%. So imagine you make $300,000 and you have to give 15.3%. And you're not prepared to do that. That would suck. So just start to create a business account, savings account, or a separate account where whenever you have income coming in, you take a percentage of that and put it in your tax account. So then by the time tax season comes up, you can use that money to pay back any taxes that you owe, as opposed to having to look at your net profit like, oh shoot, how am I gonna pay this and everything else and keep up with everything else? How am I gonna do this? I don't want to be outside. But seriously, I'm joking, but like seriously, create a tax account. That's going to help. I haven't done that quite yet, but that's the game plan for 2021, so that I'm already ahead of the game, because it's just a huge difference. Your employer, when you're working for someone, I believe they pay for 8% of your taxes, and then you're taxed on the rest of that 15.3%, and then that's what's taken out of your account. So that's why a lot of people end up getting money back. But as a business owner, you're just getting money. Like, it's just money untaxed a lot of the time. So you don't want to be stuck in a rut at the end of the year. All that hard work went down the drain because you were not prepared. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. I hope this was really helpful. I know I couldn't go into too much detail, but leave me some questions down below and maybe I'll do like a Q&A version of this type of video, or any of the videos that I posted in the series. Thank you so much for watching the series, and thank you if you watched every single one. I really appreciate you. This was so much fun. I hope it was helpful. That's my goal. Even if I just help one person, that's good enough for me, honestly. I love you guys. Don't forget to share this video with your family and friends. Share this video with your fellow aspiring business owners or current business owners, entrepreneurs, influencers, content creators, attorneys, etc. Don't forget to thumbs up this video if you enjoyed. That really helps me know that you like this type of content. It also helps the YouTube algorithm push out my videos when you give me thumbs up. All of the things I'm asking from you guys is free, okay? Also, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Click that red subscribe button. Click that notification bell that's next to it so you're notified every single time I upload a video. And I will see you guys in my next video. Love you guys. Later!